welcome to the Miami Heat Beat Podcast. Welcome back. We're back from vacation. I'm your host, Giancarlo Navas. With me today, we have a jubilant Franky G.
Oh my God.
Hi, Franky. How are you? What's going on today? Today is
We're rusty.
We're rusty. Listen, the Heat lost, and I checked out. I've been watching basketball as just a hater, as just strictly a hater. Have enjoyed every time the New York Knicks have lost. Have enjoyed making fun of Jason Tatum. Have watched Barry Jackson crash out. We've missed a lot of things. Today, I see chat is really upset. Chat's mad. Franky, could you give our audience who may not be knowing what's going on why everybody's so upset right now? It is Monday at 7:26 p.m. on a Monday.
So if you are unaware, the NBA draft lottery is going on right now at this very moment. And the Miami Heat had the 11th worst record in the NBA, but they won the play-in, both play-in tournaments. So they made the playoffs and forfeited that spot. That spot went to the Dallas Mavericks, who just won the draft lottery and will now be selecting Cooper Flagg with the number 1 pick.
The Dallas Mavericks. Okay. Franky, this is rigged.
I called this shit. I
don't believe that the Heat would have gotten it. I don't believe it.
Bro, oh my God, man. Come on.
I don't believe it. I believe this. That cannot be. It can't be Anthony Davis to the Lakers and Luka to the Lakers, and in their wake is the number 1 pick. I am sorry. Nico Harris doesn't deserve this. I'm so upset. I don't say anything's rigged. I'm not that guy. That's crazy.
And Moose is crashing out in the chat, in our personal group chat here. And G says, Moose, come on the show, crash out live. Moose goes, no, fuck you. I'm not giving you shit.
Yeah, I'm begging anybody in our group chat to come crash out. Moose is boycotting Miami Heat Beat right now. Does not want to come crash out.
That's so fucking funny. I called this shit, bro. The draft lottery, since they even out the odds, the number 1 pick does not go to the worst record. Like rarely ever happens. It's happened like one time in the last like 6 years.
Dude, this is so funny. I do think that it's insane. I mean, I don't know how to feel about the Mavericks winning. I don't know. At least where do the Sixers pick? What is the draft order?
Sixers got Dallas got 1, San Antonio got 2, Sixers got 3, and Charlotte got 4. That's the
damn. They got rid of. They got off of Rozier and the number 4 pick.
They just keep winning.
I can't.
That's the only winning they do. They don't do it.
Today was supposed to be a Pat Riley day, and now we're talking Nico. They're so gonna trade that pick for Giannis, aren't they?
Oh no, they're gonna trade it for KD. They want
Giannis. They've wanted Giannis. Actually, pairing Giannis with the AD is mighty interesting.
I don't know about that. And Kyrie's out with the ACL injury too.
Who?
Kyrie.
Yeah, but he come back next season.
Probably not next season. He got it really late. It will be
but people are. I guess as the age factors into that.
Yeah, it depends on it. That's so funny.
Interesting. Chad's asking. They made the playoffs. How were they in the lottery?
Dallas didn't make the playoffs. They lost. They lost in the play-in as well.
Oh, okay. Maybe Chad was wrong. Yeah, you're right. They did lose in the play-in. Yeah. Oh, they rather embarrassingly lost in the play-in. So that's the draft lottery.
They won the first game, and then I think they lost the second one.
That's the draft lottery. We will never know the sweet joy of winning a number 1 pick like that from Dallas. Well, also the league hates us, so they're trying to correct the wrongs. Where did Atlanta pick? Atlanta made the playoffs. Who did we pick? Where did Chicago pick?
Hold on, let me get that for you.
Let's do a little tankathon. Actually, hold on, wait, Franky. We have a segment for this. Hold on, wait. What are we doing? we have. Hold on, wait. What are we doing? It's time to tank. Yeah.
So, as we said, Dallas won the lottery. Then it's San Antonio with the 2nd pick. The 76ers with the 3rd pick. They did not have to forfeit their pick to OKC. That was a big win for them. Charlotte with the 4th pick. Then we got Utah, Washington, New Orleans, Brooklyn, Toronto, Houston, Portland, Chicago, Atlanta, and San Antonio again at 14.
Man, Toronto got mega fucked. Wow, really interesting stuff. Heat will not know that joy. The Heat will be very mid next year. Get ready to learn 18th pick, buddy.
I mean, let's talk. We came here to talk about something else, so like, let's get into it because the way the Heat are tweeting, and the way Pat was talking in that press conference, it seems like the direction and the focus is kind of set.
It really does. Listen, the abrupt music ends, so it's very funny to me. We need like a record screech. It's like, I asked Brian to come on. He said no, he's eating airport food. So nobody's gonna come crash out.
I read that as Harry B's at first.
Yeah. Everybody's the draft beat people are mad at us in chat in our group chat. We have a crash out. We have a crash out here. Lou joining us. What's up, Lou? Here to crash out before we talk Riley.
Lou, tell me I did not call this all fucking the whole time.
Franky has been calling this since way back in fucking, I can't even fucking remember. And I was like, Franky, let's not be pessimistic. Like, it's never going to get that bad. Like, come on, you know what, Franky? You were fucking right. You know what, Franky? This franchise today is the culture funeral of this fucking franchise. Next year, they're going to be picking somewhere in the teens. It's not going to fucking matter. This was legitimately, and we said it all season, your last possible chance to make the Bam Adebayo build work. Point blank, period. I don't give a fuck about no Durant. I don't care about Giannis. He's not coming unless he's gone. Like, this was your last chance, math-wise, on the books to make this build work. And they would have landed a borderline generational prospect, the perfect 3, 4, 5, whatever you want to say next to Bam. He's not a 5, but you get the fucking point. It doesn't fucking matter at that point. Like, the guy they're missing, they would have had an opportunity to get that. And you know what they chose? They chose to be the team that's going to be in the NBA record books. Why? Because they wanted to be the first 10 seed to make the play-in and to make the playoffs from the play-in.
The banner.
And you know what else they wanted? They're going to be in the record books for what, you may ask? For getting literally spanked the hardest in round 1, the biggest margin of defeat in NBA history by your Miami Heat. I didn't even pull the fucking Twitch up. I can't even see the fucking comments. I just came here. I was screaming next door. My girlfriend said, am I okay? I said, babe, I'm going to crash out live on. I said, babe, I'm going to crash out live on Twitch because I can't fucking stand the method of this fucking team. I can't stand Mr. fucking Pat Riley and his shitty ass fucking presser. That shit got me even more hot. It told me they didn't learn shit from what they fucking did all season. All the bullshit that they've been putting us through has all came crashing down on a day like today. They could have been blessed. And yet here we are digging our own grave.
I don't think they would have been blessed. I think you're wrong. I think this is clearly rigged.
Hold on. Gee,
Lou, you don't think this is rigged?
When we talk about trades that didn't go through and that player goes to another team and he gets injured, you're like, oh, but he got hurt, so it wouldn't have mattered anyways. But with the fucking lottery balls, you think something would have changed if the Heat would have owned the pick instead? I think that this. I actually genuinely, I'm not conspiracy guy. I just think this has to be rigged. What are the fucking odds that Anthony Davis, Luka, I don't know. I feel like this reeks. I think this reeks. I think you know what the odds were? I'll tell you right now, 1.8%, and we didn't fucking take it.
I don't know. I have questions.
And gee, rightfully so. You should have questions. You should. It's okay to have questions because you're right. Some shit fucking happened today that wasn't likely to happen. You know what else happened? We fucking got our ass annihilated. It was on national television. We get to see what just happened to us, and then we had the audacity to go out there and be like, no, guys, like Pat Riley sits in this presser, and you know what he said, G? He said this team is better than what they showed. 25 games of double-digit leads were blown. You know all that tells me is he didn't fucking learn. We suck. We are awful. This franchise, we are like we're the Chicago Bulls all over again. for 6 years of meaty fucking ocracy. That's all we're gonna deal with because this fucking front office cannot take a look in the fucking mirror and acknowledge how fucking trash the roster is, the cap space is. They fucked Jimmy's situation up. They traded a pick for Rozier. They're paying all their fucking dues today. The day that we should have been out here having this beam should have been lit. My FPL bill should have been through the fucking roof. It should have been. This shit would have stayed on for years if we would have gotten Cooper Flag. And you know what? That shit is not. I'm unplugging that fucking beam, man. Fuck this shitty ass fucking. The mindset of this franchise, G. You are one to argue, and we've said before off air how this franchise has been lucky over good, and the front office has gotten bailed out by that. And a day like today is literally just like they would have had another opportunity to get the biggest blessing they could have possibly gotten after not trading Jimmy in the summer. It would have all been fixed on a day like today. But you know what they wanted to do? They wanted to go out there and they wanted to wear the pride on their sleeve and say, look, Jimmy, we can make it to the playoffs without you. We're big, bad, and tough. And you know what that got them?
They did.
In Cancun. They got them in Cancun. They're looking at the hotel I just booked today. Like, that's who that. You know, I'm like, oh, Tyler, tell me how the hotel is at this fucking point. Like, this team is fucking stuck in their goddamn ways, and it's the most infuriating thing that could ever fucking happen. If you love a team as much as I do, and you're not upset today, then you don't love them hard enough. I'm fucking sorry. Go ahead.
Chat says that you're gonna blow your mic.
Nah. My brain is mad. Imagine.
That's so funny. God.
Oh man.
Let me tell you something, man. I'm on Twitter. I'm full blown conspiracy theory right now. I know Lou's upset because Lou thinks that this is a fair, just world, and he's right. It's not, but I don't think that this is a I don't think this is legit. How could you view this as not being rigged? How could you view that? That's crazy. Chat's right. At least Philly didn't get him. That's a real big win here today, fellas. That's a real big win here today.
Philly might get the number 2 player in this draft because he doesn't make a lot of sense on the Spurs with Fox, so they might have lucked into it too.
I'm just upset that Nico Harris is happy today. Who was Dallas's draft representative?
Can you imagine all the highlight clips?
Rolando Blackman.
We would have had a 2-month fucking daily episode on Cooper Flag and all the great things he could have done for Miami. And now I got to go get some fucking losartan because my blood pressure's through the roof. That's fucking ridiculous. I'm about to fuck. This is fucking ridiculous.
This man's in maximum crash out.
This is so funny,
dude. I wish Moose would have come on. Chat's right. Don't worry, Lou. We're gonna get Durant and Giannis together.
Yeah, the combination of both. When they're 74 years old, that's when Pat Riley will pull the trigger.
I have a serious question. Like, please, just genuinely. If they just if Durant and Giannis parachuted onto this team against Cleveland, do they win?
Probably.
Both of them?
Yeah, just both of them.
What are we playing? 2K here? Sure.
Do they win the title? Do they win the title if both those guys just parachute in?
If they stay healthy, maybe. Probably, yeah.
Indiana.
Is Tyler not on the team? Can he not be on there? I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting too far away.
Dude, did you see LeBron James just tweeted out a bunch of crying, laughing emoji? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 of them.
Yeah.
9 of them. That's so funny. Okay, so
this is the funniest tweet. Barry Jackson said, "Blame Coby White and Trae Young for off nights." They can't even blame the fucking team. they have to blame the other.
I'm with Barry here. That's on Coby. That's on Coby White. I'm telling you. I was there. I wanted to lose that game. I didn't want to win that game for different reasons. I wanted a vacation. But here we are. So the real reason why we are doing this pod today is to talk about Pat Riley's end of year press conference. It was on a Friday. I didn't want to work on Friday. Let's just be real. It's Friday. I haven't potted on a Friday in years. So we punted to Monday. Yesterday was Mother's Day. Saturday was Mother's Day prep. You know, we all have families. Ethan has said 70 podcasts in that time period, which, by the way, Ethan's coming on Wednesday on Miami Heat Beat Airwaves. So stay tuned on Wednesday for Ethan Skolnick, just giving the juice on the Heat and Durant and all that good stuff. So Chet says we're running it back. Absolutely right. So what we're here to talk about today is our press conference, and it's a little late, but we're here, and I think we've all marinated, we've all stewed in it. We're all like carnitas in the Instapot, just like marinating and bubbling, and all the cumin and spices and all the great stuff going on, in carnitas, and now we're fully ready to kind of get crisped up, kind of pan fried, delicious, yummy, put on a taco. And that's what we're providing for you today. I really want tacos. I don't know if you noticed. We'd kill for some carnitas right now. So that's what we're here to talk about, Frankie. And really, I guess the main takeaway was, Lou throws his hat off camera. My main takeaway is I felt that Pat had a little bit of indignation to him. I think Pat understands the criticism levied at him in the organization. And I think it felt very platitudic. I felt like he just said very generic things. There has to be change. We're not wrong, but like things have to change. Guys are gonna get moved. He's like, Tyler's great, and I don't know if I'm gonna give it an extension. Maybe not.
Tyler stays his whole career here.
Yeah. Just a bunch of
for the best, whatever.
It was the least inspiring thing I've ever heard out of him. Because at least last year, he just told a bunch of dudes, he's like, Jimmy, shut the fuck up. Tyler, stay healthy. Like, at least I don't know. At least it was a little bit of umph. This year, it felt like, I actually do think, like, I feel like they're going to try to, like, I feel like they think that they're closer than they are. They had that comment. He had that comment where, like, those blowouts are not indicative of who we are. I'm like, probably not, but like maybe you wouldn't have lost the series by a combined 100 points, but you would have lost it by a combined 50, and that's still a huge gap. So that's kind of my takeaway. I'm really uninspired and kind of disappointed in how it felt like they were trying to defend themselves a little bit.
For sure. I think they, like, first of all, I want to preface it by saying, like, there's some stuff that, like, he just has to say. Like, he's not going to flat out say everything, what the plan is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of course.
It's like some press conference. You got to be professional and shit. I mean, Pat is Pat. But there has to be some awareness of what you're saying, and you can't give out all the plans and stuff. So I'm not going to judge him as much on the press conference as I will when the offseason is over and we see what they did. Because he could say, I want Tyler to be here for the rest of his career. I want Bam to be here, and then ship him out tomorrow. And it doesn't fucking matter what he said. But yeah, I mean, besides like the weird humble comment about like wanting an aging all-star that's humble, and the weird stuff about about Spo with his personal life, and kind of taking a little shot at Spo with the coaching stuff. I thought it was a lot of nothing. Like, I thought it was just a lot of nothing, which I welcomed, because last year I thought he very clearly was stating what he was going to do and didn't follow through and didn't follow through with what we thought he should have done at the time. And it fucked him up this season. So I'm going to give him that benefit of the doubt, hope for the best, but I'm not, as today's karma with the draft lotto showed, I'm not expecting a lot from them.
I'm not either. I mean, I think that obviously, like, you would be blind, Lou, to look at what happened and be like, this is fine. Zach Lowe said it, I thought, best on his show. That's the benchmark of the conference. You played against it. That's how far you are. That's the gulf between you, where you are, and where you need to be. And I don't think that a couple moves fixes that at all. And I think that they think that they're a couple moves away.
100%. There's nothing in the press conference that led me to believe that he believed that this season was what it was. Like everything that he said, even like, I know Franky kind of said it maybe jokingly, I don't know, like the taking shots at Spo thing, it felt like he was like, this season was kind of more on Spo than on the team. Or like they were, like he said, finding excuses for why the team underperformed to his viewing, even though I don't think the team underperformed. I just think the team was bad, right? As evidenced by the 137 fucking points we got blown out by in the first round series to Cleveland, who is now losing 3-1 to the Pacers. So can you imagine? It's probably the best thing that could have happened. But in regards to like, you know, like it just felt, I know he's not going to come out here and say we're going to do this and we're going to do this, but it just some of the comments that he said just do not lead me to believe that this front office, obviously it's not led by Pat Riley, and he even referenced that he tried to take some blame off of himself. Like he's like, it's not just me. I sit down with, you know, he basically said like 5 or 6 guys, and we come to these decisions together.
That is the truth,
and that
though.
And that is the truth. But something tells me it's not a democracy in there. Pat's word has a little bit more juice than everybody else's. So it's him deflecting a little bit, you know. And he said, if you want to blame me for that, sure. Who the fuck else are we going to blame, Pat? You're the one who called Jimmy out last year.
I gotta be honest with you. I kind of agree with you, Lou. And like, I know that Pat's decision isn't like, you know, like
isn't
Pat,
final, but
your part of your job as team president is you take the PR hit. Like
100%.
Your title, like you, whatever, you have a 5th of the vote, but your title means that you get out there and you get the credit and you also take the fucking hit. So take the goddamn hit, bro. Where's the, you know, like I didn't like this press conference from him. And I think that like if you demand accountability from a bunch of dudes, have a little bit more accountability. You remember, this is a guy that quote fired himself after a 15-win season. Like
and this is also
this is not the Pat. This is not the Pat I grew up with.
100% G. And also, this is the guy we hear from once a year.
Yeah, I like you fucking come out. You come out for media day. You come out for the fucking family fest, and you come out for this. That's it.
But he doesn't even talk to the media like Family Fest and
yeah,
stuff
you're
like
right.
That's what I mean. Like he fucking avoids the criticism and stuff because of that. Like and I get it. Like I'm not putting the sole blame on him for the moves and stuff. We can't. He's not the only one in charge of that. But like Lou said, like these are all disciples of Pat Riley. These are all from the tree of Pat Riley. And not only that, most of these guys have not worked in another organization. They learned NBA basketball through the Miami Heat and that perspective. And that's why when we talk about this, like they have heat coded eyes and they most likely have similar beliefs in that result.
It's a cult. It's a cult.
It's a cult. Yeah.
Speaking of cult, the Heat Twitter account. Stop.
A chat asked out of the Heat inbred.
Stop. The Heat just tweeted this after the Mavericks were announced having the #1 pick.
One of Spo's favorite Spoisms, ignitable. He's one of the most ignitable guys offensively in the league.
Hero with the logo, 3
take this off,
down.
please.
He'll fire.
I cannot believe that they're putting a fucking Tyler Hero montage.
What are we doing?
Tiffany in our group chat goes, Heat saying we have Cooper Flag at home.
Oh my
I cannot
goodness
believe
gracious.
that they did this. What the fuck is this, dude? And
They
you know,
literally-
like they didn't just make that. They had that shit ready, and they're like, you know what? Now's a good time.
This wasn't made 20 minutes ago.
That shit has been in the chamber. Oh my god,
Franky took himself out.
Franky's so disgusted he took himself out. Honestly, that was so funny. Chat's like, what do they see in him? I don't know. They see something. They see something. I don't like this because like this. It's been a very weird like week because like everybody is now attacking Tyler Hero and Barry Jackson is out here as Donovan Mitchell, as Tyler Hero's strongest soldier against Donovan Mitchell, which is just like, and then Donovan puts up a stinker and Barry's like, you see, you know, I love Barry Jackson. I love you. Barry, I love you. You are
Barry's a goat, but you know,
Barry's a goat.
Some people miss.
Barry, I think it's time to log off. I don't think this is a fight you want to win. I don't.
I don't think it's one he can win.
G just lost signal. Okay, so he's out of the bill. He's gonna come back in. What a timing, man! And Barry's goons got him. I'm gonna say Barry's goons got you, G.
They did. Barry Jackson's Barry got shooters. Is what I'm learning.
Apparently, so do we, according to that fucking highlight clip, huh?
And Donovan Mitchell's down 3-1 because of Barry Jackson.
That was the most. I'm sorry, I'm not over that Heat thing. That was the most bizarre thing to post in this moment.
Did you see what they posted earlier today?
Yeah, I did. I know you have it locked and loaded to show the audience.
Please show the people.
Yeah. So we have I'll remove the chyron so people can see. It's Pat Riley saying, "Are you comfortable with the idea of Somebody asking Pat.
I think that was Ethan too.
Yeah, it was Ethan. Are you comfortable with the idea of managing an aging star again? Pat goes, for us, yes. If that player's the right name, I still think that an aging player can play.
He referenced I don't know if like he referenced like aging stars like across 4 different segments without being prompted to bring them up. Like he was mentioning, we see what Steph is doing at this age with Draymond, and we see what LeBron's doing, and he referenced like 2 or 3 other people who I can't really remember.
What is LeBron doing other than losing in the first round?
I don't know. But regardless,
what is KD doing missing the play-in?
Yeah, he's like, but if we, like guys are playing longer now, and they're like, yes, Pat, I agree. Guys are playing longer. But a guy who's 36, 37 is not going to fix this roster. Like, it's just the idiocracy of like I don't know how to describe it. Like, they're just blinded. I don't know. It was the most, like, 10 minutes into the press conference. I shit you not. I was watching it outside after, like, this was at night. I didn't catch it live. I didn't read anything on Twitter.
Are you just sitting on the stoop of your, are you just sitting on the stoop?
I'm sitting outside on the sofa watching this. My girlfriend's next to me, and I'm watching.
Outside?
Oh, we have a terrace. There's a terrace out there.
Anyway, I want
Anyways,
to call that a sofa.
there's a sofa. What?
I think an outside piece of furniture is not a sofa.
It's a big ass. Regardless, I'm sitting outside. It doesn't take away from the point. 8 minutes in, I pause it, and I'm like livid because of the bullshit he was spewing about just aging guys, and we're like really competitive. 25 games, we lost within 10 points. We were winning at some point. If that thing flips around, we're looking at a really competitive team. Like,
that reminds me, Lou.
I think he has a stigmatism, dude.
Doesn't that remind you of 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago now? But the 30-11 is closer to what this team was than the 11-30. Why do you break down the team and like you try to do small sample size and ignore the big picture? And that's the problem. Like if they really don't make some big changes, like sweeping if they're trying to compete next year and they don't make some sweeping changes,
they're not competing next year.
There's no path to contention.
This is a 3-year minimum project. And listen,
right.
Benitez in chat is asking the great big questions. Thank you for the super chat. Says, what if Hero makes another 3-point jumper? Is he an alpha? That's a great question. Something that the organization needs to ask going into the offseason. But this is a 3-year minimum rebuild. I don't think that getting Kevin Durant, and it was that guy, what's that guy's name? Franky, KD's friend, KD's Ernie.
I'll get his name for you in a second.
There's a guy on Twitter.
It's like Bansky or some shit.
Yeah,
like that.
Bansky.
Eddie Gonzalez.
Eddie Gonzalez. Was kind of talking about the alleged offers that Miami made for Durant, which was Jimmy Butler and Josh Richardson, which is very funny because that's the one thing about the report I do believe that Pyron
100%.
Like, you want Jimmy Butler and Josh Richardson, and the proposed deal was like Jimmy, 1 or 2 picks, Jovic and Jaime. And I think that even if I look at something like that today, I don't think that I don't think like losing Jovic and Jaquez, whatever, who cares about Jaquez, and a pick, and you add Durant to Bam, Tyler. I don't really think that like fixes what's fundamentally wrong with them on both ends of the floor. I think like obviously we like Davion. We want to see Davion play on this Heat team longer. But I just think that they have too many soft spots on defense. They don't have a second defensive anchor next to Bam. Bam does a lot on defense, but I think without a Jimmy Butler or a PJ Tucker next to him, it's really hard because they have very targetable guards. And their offense, Kevin Durant, I don't think is going to engine. Kevin Durant doesn't play make. And they don't have enough playmakers anymore. And in that
DOG, just to add to your point real quick,
you lose
Davion,
a playmaker.
yeah, No, but you wouldn't have had Davion.
It wouldn't have had Davion, who's been like, I think Davion makes more sense for their timetable to sign him to like a reasonable, like longer term deal to build around a point of attack guard who can do some playmaking attack. But clearly, like they don't have enough playmaking, they don't have enough scoring, they don't have enough rim pressure. Kevin Durant's a jump shooter, and they take plenty of jump shots. And obviously, Kevin Durant is a million times better offensively. And obviously, if they have Kevin Durant, they won't be the worst offense in the league. Right?
100%.
They'll probably be a middle of the pack offense. They won't be an elite offense. They won't be an awful offense. They will certainly have a pulse. They won't have 15-point quarters on the regular anymore because he will just score 10 points in a quarter, even at his age, because he'll hit 2-3 threes or whatever. And that's
For sure.
Like, I don't think that, Frankie, they're not close enough that should be like the people who should be thinking about Kevin Durant are like the Rockets, are like, teams like those, even the Mavericks. For as much as we make fun of them, they're like, oh, if Kyrie's okay and I don't even think they should be like looking that direction. But those are more, Miami is like, bro, you are the 10th seed. Adding a 37-year-old is not going to fix your problems. You got to like, I don't even, guys, we've talked about this. I don't even think that they need to hold, they don't need to fire sale, but they certainly need a partial teardown at minimum.
It needs to be a rebuild. It needs to be a rebuild, retool, whatever you need to call it, for your own ego and your own satisfaction. Just do that. But it's like you don't have assets to add a KD, add other pieces. You need starting level players. You need two-way players. They don't have many of those. They don't have many two-way potential players. Kalel Ware is one of the only ones that they have, and he was unplayable this year.
And Jovic.
No, but I'm saying prospects.
Yeah,
like,
probably
I think
and Larson's 24, so it's like,
Okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
like Davion. I agree, he's a two-way potential guy. Nico as well, but those guys like Nico, they're still very unproven, and they're not like like we just saw it.
Smith do it for you?
Drew Smith off an Achilles, he's done. That guy's big dunzo.
Nah, he's back.
Don't you worry. He's going to be our third two-way spot yet again.
Like,
might be our first.
That's not a bad
legendary 20 games of Drew Smith's career so far.
Dude, I mean,
but it's that, man. They're so fucking far away. Like we talked about this last season. Because they didn't take last season like as seriously as they should, they kicked it down the road, and they might have lost that shit. That can might have kept skipping and gone down a hill, and you're like, fuck, where is it now? They might have lost their opportunity right here. They might just have a few lean years that they don't want because they don't ignore the big picture that's staring right in their face, that they're mid-team. Like, yeah, they blew like 20 or so double-digit leads, 20-point leads, whatever it was. Why? Why did they blow that lead? They couldn't defend. They couldn't get to the basket. They couldn't get to the free throw line when it mattered. And how are you going to resolve that with just bringing in the same guys? Like you guys talked about, oh, Jimmy's not playing. We're bringing in Wiggins, who averages the same points as him and similar numbers. Did not have any kind of fucking impact. You see that. This is why I tell you guys not look at the numbers. This isn't fantasy basketball. This isn't plug and play like that. There's an impact with skill sets, and they don't have the skill sets that are necessary to compete, and they're not close to it. Like you need the closest guys that you have for potential are the young guys, and Nico can't stay healthy. He's been super inconsistent. I believe in the kid, but like Spo needs to fucking give him chances to make mistakes. And if they're
I think he did though, Frank. Toward the end of the season, I mean, he played.
Yeah, once he defined his role, we saw Nico explode. But it took every year his role. His first year he wasn't going to play, but his second year his role was completely different than it was at the start of this year because they tried to make the whole fucking Terry, Tyler, Jovic shit work, which was obvious as fucking day it wasn't. And then Nico was the one who took the blunt of the force for that. Fucking got benched for 2 fucking months. And then they're like, Nico, it turns out we kind of need a playmaker because Terry sucks. Tyler's not good enough to do it for 48 minutes. Nobody is good enough to do it for 48 minutes. And we need somebody to take some scoring punch off the bench. And then here comes
Nico gets scapegoated.
Nico gets scapegoated, but then here comes Nico after being scapegoated, sticks with it, almost puts up fucking I posted his per 36 numbers. It was like 15-5 or 16-5 and 5. on damn near 50, 40, 90 splits. Like the kid is cooking. And yet again, it's like, unfortunately, he gets hurt. But to Franky's point, it's just so many things that this team fails to realize, that even like when they have some of these players with potential, they're just so stuck on playing the Alec Burks, on playing the Kyle Andersons, as opposed to taking a shot in the foot and just developing these guys. Because we saw what Alec Burks was. We saw what Kyle Anderson was. We have yet to see what Nico could be, what Kalau could be, what Pella could be. Maybe we've seen what Jaime is, but should I play him over them too? Like this team wasn't close to contention. Adding a Kevin Durant to this team legitimately takes them from being the 10th seed to at best a 6 or a 5 seed. At fucking best. In peak form, if Kevin Durant gives you 70 games, Tyler stays as healthy as he did this year, and Bam does. And that implies you're not trading any of those guys to get him. Plus, you're bringing pieces next to him. Like, there's no legitimate path to contention for the next 2 years for this basketball team, and their only way, and we've been screaming it since last summer, the only way to make this shit work was to tank this year, to take it off, especially once Jimmy was traded, especially when he lost 10 games in a row. And you know what they did? They kept fighting and they kept clawing, because that's Heat culture. That's what the front office wants to see. And yet here we go again. It's just how could we not be upset? Like, how could you be anything less than upset with the way that this front office has mismanaged their assets, in particular for the last 4 seasons now? But even though since 2019, when Jimmy got here, it's been frustrating.
It's just things where they have to, like, this has to be an organizational thing where they have to develop. If they're going to develop within, like, I think the only real path to contention is getting lucky, like hitting on a 20th pick as a franchise guy, like, yep. and it's really hard. Like, the teams that are in contention, building through the middle, are like Indiana, and even Indiana, like, sells off players and for prospects when they hint they want out and stuff like that.
They traded Sabonis for
they traded PG, they traded Depot, and they have to build that way. If the Heat, the Heat are a destination spot, but they also don't consider building another way when that doesn't work, because
when the CBA doesn't allow it anymore.
There's no free agents. You don't have the best trade packages to get guys, because you got the Damian Lillard example. He said Miami only. You still didn't have the facility to fucking make that trade. You didn't have a better package than the Drew Holiday package. So how are you going to build? How else are you going to build?
They don't. And like, I've kind of already outlined like what I think would be an appropriate summer for them, given their kind of situation, where I do think that they have to start trading some of these guys that, are not in your future. Duncan Robinson, I love you. I think you're a great player. I just don't really think that you make sense for us right now. We're not trying to 100%. Win. Yeah. Haywood,
Highsmith too. Yeah.
I love Haywood, Highsmith. You have a
year
left. I think you could help a good team. And I don't think that there's a place for you right now, because we're going to have to try to recoup some stuff. And you can get some guys and some stuff for those guys. Tyler Hero, I don't think they should pay you. And I think that's a guy that you got to look into moving. And I think you try to sell Bam on this vision and be like, hey, we're going to take a lean year or two. We're going to recoup some stuff, and we're going to make smart signings. And that's when you make smart. That's where, like, your scouting, like, clearly they flagged Davion Mitchell. He was not doing great in Toronto, and they clearly wanted him. And they're like, we see something in him. Their scouting is good. I think we all agree.
It's great. It's great. The best thing about them.
And you don't have to only scout for the draft. There are guys in the league that you had your eye on at the draft process that you follow, and that, I think if we get those guys in our system, they'll be good.
Right.
You make smart signings like that, because I'm sure that Davion is going to look like a steal in a few years. You didn't have to. Yeah, they said that they scouted Rozier.
But no, G, to your point, like, if you can get a guy that like a Brunson, who in a bigger role can play to that level, like, that's great. That's a franchise changing move like that. Like, those are the moves. I 100% agree with it. It's not that Tyler is a bad player. It's just he's a luxury they can't afford right now.
Exactly.
That's a great example that you use of Jalen Brunson. That's a guy that was obviously, like, he was on a good team.
He was a good player.
He was a good player on a good team. I think James Harden is another example of this. Like, I think those two guys are pretty similar in that, okay, like, they're clearly, like, good players who deserve to get paid. and
I'm just
somebody,
kidding.
huh?
I said they're fat.
Yeah, that's also
fat
true.
lefties. Yeah, you know
Fat
that's what they
lefties
need.
that grift free throws. But those clearly like smart front offices were like, hey, I think this guy can be a lot more than what he is in this situation. And that's where like you use your scouting and your money and your mid-level exceptions and all that. You don't need to like, we all know Kevin Durant's good. And because we all know Kevin Durant's good, the
His price is high. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all they know how to do.
And like you can trade for that guy eventually. And Lou, you've advocated for that too. Like you're not saying like you never trade for the star.
Absolutely not.
You have to be ready. Like
Yep.
I use the example of like I think the Raptors swooping in and getting Kawhi Leonard, that made sense, right? Like they were ready.
100%.
They needed a guy like, you know, and that's what you have to do if you're Miami. I think you put yourself in a position. Obviously, Toronto was like a perennial like playoff contender, and they were winning 60 games. You know, they won 60 games. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Miami's not at that level, but why can't you make smart signings, make smart draft picks in the mid to late teens, and build up a team that then you can then be ready to trade for that guy because you have stuff, because you were proactive. You're like, Duncan Robinson, we're going to trade you. Haywood Highsmith, we're going to trade you.
Yep.
Give Jaquez some run, see if you can recoup some of his value so he can either help you or you trade him.
Or you just let him walk. And G, just to add to your point and like almost to like kind of give like it's not a counter to your point, but it's just like basically what I'm trying to get at is during the off season, the like teams aren't, you know, running to the table or you know, blowing up your phone for a chance at Duncan Robinson or at Haywood Highsmith. These are deadline guys that you trade away that a team identifies as this guy can help swing 1 or 2 games, and that could be the difference to me advancing to the conference finals.
I don't even agree with that because, like, look at Cleveland. Cleveland last year, or when they signed Max Strus, they clearly had a problem where it was very obvious they lost because they did not have shooting, and they obviously the Max Strus was a sign and trade. But like, what's to say that like a team doesn't lose in the playoffs and they're like, we really need shooting, and
Orlando,
a guy who moves,
Houston,
I get it, and it's not to say, but again, it's different because Max Strus was a free agent and all they had to trade was a 2nd round pick. Like if from the Heat's perspective, the best time to trade this guy or these guys in general, like Haywood Highsmith was under a 2-year contract. A team would have had him for a year and a half. A contending team would have had him for a year and a half. If you would have traded him in February, a team would have looked into him. Shit, I think the Pacers would have looked into him. Like there's several teams. There's teams that identify like, okay, this style of player is something we're missing. I think the Houston Rockets would have called about Duncan if you would have offered him in February. They had the contracts to match.
I think the Warriors also would be interested in a guy like Haywood Highsmith.
I think, absolutely. Yeah, that's somebody Franky had talked about earlier. Like Orlando would have called for Duncan too. Like, but these are deadline moves. These are not off. Like in the off season, the Heat are trying to utilize their salaries to accumulate a bigger star, which we can get into that discussion. But most teams are also trying to go for that big star. So they're not really focused on getting you, on getting a Duncan on a 1-year deal who's a one-way player. But maybe if once the season plays out, they're like, okay, maybe we do need a Duncan because we need a 8th, 9th man in a playoff rotation who can help win us 1 or 2 games. Like Buddy Hield did fucking last series when Steph was off. Or even when Steph went down in game 1, like it, it's not to say Duncan is Buddy Hield, but you're getting my point. Like he can swing you 1 or 2 games, and that could be the difference in you advancing or getting.
I think Duncan Robinson is better than Buddy Hield.
I agree. Exactly. But I'm just saying, like these guys get identified, and you get peak value from them during the deadline. Like during the offseason, it's kind of hard to trade for these guys because, the teams are. Nobody really knows, but if you know and you're close to competing, the price isn't too exorbitant and you can absolutely bring these guys in. And it's not like they demand the ball in a certain way that completely shocks your chemistry. They're guys who've been role players their whole lives. And that's all you need them to be is just a role player for a better team. Like they messed up so many of these opportunities and it's,
but that's because their philosophy is opposed to that.
It's fucked. They
never sell high on a guy. They never sell on a guys until they're absolutely done with that guy.
They only go for the prettiest apple. When their apple is at its prettiest, they don't try to sell it for value. They keep it until it's rotten and they let it walk out, or they fucking get pennies for it, or they pay somebody to take that fucking apple. That's really what they do. They pay people to take their fucking bad apples after they've gone bad.
They have to recognize when it's not a championship contention year. We gotta make moves. We gotta sell. We gotta do that, and they've never done that, and that's hurt their team because this year should have been a year where they recognize, hey, we're not winning a championship this year. We're trading our best player. Our two highest paid players are having up and down seasons. They're not going to be able to, and they're not that franchise carrying a team to a contender, an MVP level to a championship team guy. And they should have been like, hey, Highsmith, Duncan, anybody on the fucking team is for sale. We're getting Wiggins. You want him? Like, it should have been like that, but they didn't do that. Now they're a year late, and we're waiting on more stuff. And now you might have missed your window with Bam. You like
100% they missed their window with Bam, man.
What are you gonna do?
Bam's 27, dude.
Guys, and I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying the only path to you making it work with him while he goes into that super max contract was drafting a star. Like statistically, I know you get what I'm saying? Like that's like the highest probability way to make it work, man.
Focus on what happened with Pat, because I think everything that we're saying, they don't believe, and he doesn't believe. And I know that ownership doesn't want probably to go to a full tank, which I understand. And I don't think they're going to trade Bam, and I don't think they're going to trade Tyler. I think they're going to try to either. I think they'll trade Tyler
for another star.
I think they'll trade Tyler for. I don't think they're going to look at this like what we're saying and say, okay, Tyler, we're not. I think they're going to pay him.
No.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't really think that they learned their lesson. And I was upset that nobody asked Riley, because he admitted it. We did not want to pay him. Pat said, I should not have to apologize for not wanting to pay that extension.
Right.
Totally agree. I would have paid it. I would have paid it. With that. I don't think that's saying I'm not going to pay you at 37 years old when you've been a battering ram your whole career and we don't even like each other. I think that's fair, right?
I think it's fair too.
I think it's fair. The issue
100%.
was there was no proactivity behind it. And I think you as team president admitted, I knew that I didn't want to pay it. And I don't know why nobody asked, well, if you knew that, why didn't you try to move him sooner? Because really, he very
Barry Jackson was ready to fight.
Barry Jackson has been saying, I love Barry, and I love all the I have a lot of respect for the reporters in this media, but nobody asked that question when I thought that should have been asked. If you felt this way, why did you not move him sooner? Because you waited until it got nasty, and all his value was gone.
To be fair, Ira tried to ask the question like 3 times, and he said, you have another follow-up? You have another follow-up? You have another? Like, he was just getting irked by the questions, too. But you're right, G. Like 100%.
Ira's the fucking GOAT. Let me tell you that. God damn it.
That should have been the immediate follow-up, is if you knew you weren't going to pay him, why did you wait for him to request the trade and absolutely shit on the ties of the franchise?
Bro, they accused it. Like, let's remember the timeline of this. He gets sick. He has an Oklahoma City game. He turns his ankle. He's now sick. Probably had norovirus. He was out for a while up until New Year's Day. He plays that game against New Orleans. In New Orleans, he looks awful. I think I experienced this as that's what a sick guy looks like when he has not played basketball in 2 weeks. The organization is like, you quit. And then he's like, you want to fucking see quit? And he fucking quit the next game. And it got that way. And it's like, they knew what they were doing. They knew they were pushing his buttons on purpose.
Shocker.
They knew what they were doing. And it's like, you knew where this was going. And you should know that, like, what did they think? Did they think that, like, they would not trade him at the deadline and wait for? You don't think he's going to make this as fucking nasty as possible? You don't know who you're marrying? You know what I mean? It's like, chat says he had Ira virus. I love Ira. Ira Winderman's fucking a great reporter. I love that guy. I will never say a bad thing about Ira on this podcast. I think Ira's awesome. I think all the people that do reporting in Miami are awesome. I just wish they asked that question a little more. But that's kind of my thing. And I just think that, like, I think what we all come away with today is they are divorced from their reality. And I think that they are, I think they are deluded by their own success. And I think that if you're Pat, and I understand why the organization would feel this way, because you come in the 90s and Michael Jordan just kicks your ass over and over again. And the Bulls and the Knicks and that rivalry. You're kind of not great, and then you get Shaq, right? You get the guy. I mean, 2000 Shaq. You got the fucking guy. You win a title. You are bad after that. And by the way, they lost in 2004. Pat Riley orchestrated the biggest trade in the history of the sport by
2005.
player. Yeah, 2005. Sorry, 2004, 2005 season. And they get GP, Antoine Walker, a bunch of aging stars. Posey. They win a title. And they have all those years in between. They have 15-win season. They draft Beasley. They get LeBron James. They get Chris Bosh. And they win a bunch. Those guys leave. And it's bleak after that. I mean, those years after Dwayne left, I mean, the Uncle Lou years, I thought that was a really good team. That I do think that team could have, if Chris Bosh and Hassan don't go down, I think that team could have been in the finals. Who knows? We'll never know. But it was certainly like a good team that they put together. Then they're pretty bad and mediocre, and they get out of it. They got out of it. They got out of it with Jimmy. They made the finals. Do you know how fucking hard it is to make the finals twice in the time span that they did? They almost won the title 3 times. Like, and I know that almost doesn't buy you anything, and it doesn't.
Hold on, I don't count 23 because they were clearly outmatched.
I know, but Franky,
that was a bad team.
They made the finals. Like,
they did. No, I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying I don't think they had a chance.
They embarrassed Milwaukee.
Yeah,
they embarrassed Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and that was a good Milwaukee team.
They ended
Giannis
that build.
Was hurt.
They ended that build.
They ended that, like, that team. That team, and this is kind of what I'm getting to, where they probably, like, that regular season was a slog, and Max Strus did not shoot the ball well that season. Gabe Vincent looked like he did not know how to play basketball. A bunch of guys were not shooting the ball well. And in the playoffs, all those shooters that we thought were good started shooting the ball well again.
Right.
Max Strus is a good shooter. Duncan's a good shooter. So they probably were like, this is more representative of our team than the regular season.
Yeah.
And they probably were thinking, if Jimmy doesn't get hurt and this and that and that and that, they run it back. We all know what happens. And Lou, to the point is, like, I see how their reality gets eroded because they've just kept doing it in ways that don't make sense. When some of it's been luck, some of it is, I do agree. Like, they value guys that have a certain personality that help in those situations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
For sure.
So I think it's a lot of factors, but I think it's eroded their reality to where 100%. We are now. And maybe jokes on us. They fucking find a guy and they turn this shit around in 2 years.
Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe. And it's possible.
So.
And it wouldn't, I mean, it'd be surprising.
Wouldn't
be shocking. If there's a team that could do it, I'm not going to lie. There's 2 fucking teams that can do this. It's the Lakers and them. They're the only 2 teams in the league that can do it. That can just
it happens all the time.
Dog shit and turn it around because nice city fucking organization pushed it out of their ass.
For sure.
I guess all this to say is, like, I get why they are the way they are, even if I don't agree with it, but they need to be reeled in. And I think nobody in their circle reels them in.
For sure.
And that should have been Nick's job.
Yes.
Because Nick is not Nick's job, or Andy should have been the one to reel those people back. But it looks like that's not what's happening.
Well, we do hear from that Andy is often the guy that says, like, hey, we should, like, in the 30-11, he's like, we should be ready about, like, blowing this up. Like, this is almost over. And Pat was just, all right, next homestand. And they never lost again. So the on the court superseded what the big picture should have been. But the thing about that, about, like, the 23 run, that nobody in their right fucking mind expected that was the players and the coaches squeezing every last drop of talent and performance
times two
in that run. They looked at it and they were like, yeah, this is how good we are. No, like, I don't like that. Their lack of judgment in those moments is frustrating because, like you said, G, they haven't learned. They haven't learned. They get too emotional about these runs and like how special they were, like, which you can't deny. They were special. 30-11 was special. That 23 run was special. The bubble run was special. But you have to also be like, damn, okay, were we that good? What do we need to do better? What else needs to change? We weren't, because neither of those runs ended with a championship. We weren't good enough for our goals. You can't just always fucking blame injuries. Everybody goes through injuries besides the fucking Celtics last year to those bitches. But everybody goes through some hardships. Like, you have to overcome it. When they're healthy, they weren't good enough to win championships, and they still fall in love with these fucking builds. And that's where they don't look big picture. It's okay. Like, I get it. Like, the fans should love those teams. Some of the Spo should have great relationships and admiration for those teams and love. But like, the front office has to fucking see big picture, and they have not fucking met that moment for the last 4 seasons.
And I think part of it too, guys, is
Lou wants to speak. So
just to add real quickly on to Franky's point, talk about the front office not seeing big picture. After the 2023 run, Caleb Martin was damn near Eastern Conference Finals MVP. He was coming off that entire year. Every time he was on the Caleb report, on the Caleb report, that's might as well as what it would have been called. The fucking injury report, it was Achilles tendonitis, knee tendonitis, Achilles tendonitis, knee tendonitis.
It was so bad they started doing lower extremities so you wouldn't fucking know.
Lower extremities. He was playing on one leg. He has a fucking incredible Heat Mount Rushmore role player run. Fucking put him at 1. To be honest, that run against the Celtics was insane.
The whole
legendary.
Let's be
and
honest.
It's not
the three against Milwaukee with the fucking hand. Dude,
insane. And Caleb is forever going to be a Heat lifer. I will forever love Caleb Martin. But as a front office, you then have to identify this is going to be this player's peak. And the next season, he proceeded to play bad basketball all season. His athleticism looked sapped, and you know what they did? Thank you, Caleb's agent. They offered him a 4-year, $56 million extension. For reference, he signed a 4-year, $35 million extension. They offered him 21 more. That's how out of touch they are, because they fall in love with the past instead of looking forward. They never look forward. They always look at right now, today and tomorrow, That's the most forward they look, is fucking tomorrow. It's frustrating. And the ideology, to bring it back to this presser from Pat Riley, did not change a bit.
Lou,
that's my biggest
point
takeaway
here, and I think this statistically illustrates what you're saying. Caleb's first year in Miami at age 26, 66% at the rim. His second year in Miami, 62% at the rim. That was the year of the finals. The following season, 55% at the rim. That is how you look at athletic decline.
Yeah.
Shooting was up and down, whatever. The shooting was first year was really good. Then it kind of leveled out about mid-30s. But the finishing at the rim is what is the indicator of a player at his age. And again, age 27, age 26, 27, 28.
His first year with the Heat, 10% of his shots were dunks. Then it went to 5%, then 4%.
Yeah.
3.6, excuse me.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's
it's going down, bro.
And again, the inability for this franchise to identify when their role players are at peak value, it's just frustrating, I think. And the presser didn't make me feel better.
And listen, the last thing I'll say on this, because we've gone really long, is I think they also banked on Eric being, the best coach in the league, which he wasn't this year. And I think that's okay. And Pat spoke to that. He's had a lot of things going on in his personal life. He's going on vacation. Actually, great to hear. We love Eric. We hope that everything in his life is good and that he and his family are doing well. Yeah. But they cannot depend on him to fix every ward that they have. And Lord knows he tried. I know everybody's going to give him shit for this year. I do think he tried. He tried a lot of stuff. And whether you liked it or not, they did a lot of different things. They played 3 fucking bigs at one point. They played no bigs. They tried 3 different offenses. You can say what you want about Spo. They tried stuff.
Yeah, and to the whole like, oh, Spo was not in his bag. He was playing Terry too much. Like
That stopped
like,
and they didn't
he
get
was-
much better.
I think no. To be honest, I think he was just trying to save face for the franchise. Like
he also
like-
wanted him.
Oh, but according to Ethan, it was Pat and Spo that wanted Terry. So
maybe he was trying to save face for himself.
And we'll ask Ethan all these questions
no.
on Wednesday.
Yep, he's not free of blame, but to blame Spo for this entire season is malpractice.
No,
yeah.
and I'm not.
No, I know you're not. I'm just
Nobody
saying in
deserves
general.
full blame for it. Like everybody has.
This is a group effort,
Yeah.
organizational grade for the season.
I think
Yeah.
one person deserves disproportionate amount of the blame. It's Terry Rozier.
100%.
And I do think that they probably look at it like Jimmy Butler ruined our season, and that's why we were this bad.
Terry almost got his Cooper flag. Gee, I would never hate Terry,
but he didn't.
but he didn't because we didn't play him. We should have played him.
Blame Coby White and Trae Young for all.
You're right. Sorry.
It's Coby White's fault, of course.
Real quick, Wednesday draft combine, 5-on-5 game rosters. Pay attention to Boogie Fland, from Arkansas, Cam Jones from Marquette. Forgive me if I miss anybody. Tahad Pettiford from Auburn. There's a lot of guys that the Heat are going to be interested in. They definitely watched it. Keshad Johnson played in this game last year, and a lot of good prospects. The Heat only have one pick right now, so I don't expect them to trade and get more picks. But if they do use their pick and draft and keep a player, there's a potential. It's a preview for one of these guys that are playing.
Love it. Be on the lookout. Draft Beat's gonna get rolling soon. The boys are gonna really do a great job.
We should have a show next week, and we'll be able to announce like our schedule going forward.
Yeah, so be on the lookout for. I mean, listen, and I I don't watch college basketball, so I don't get involved. So if you want to break from me, Frankie, Lou, and Moose and Brian do a fantastic job. Why are you laughing?
No, because Moose is so bad. I don't think
I have to call Moose. I think Moose genuinely hates me.
He thinks you're mad at him.
He thinks I'm mad at. Yeah, I gotta call. But Moose will be on.
Just invite him over. He's like across the street, isn't he?
Yeah. I'll have him over. We'll have some Puerto Rican for dinner.
Give him some monkey shoulder.
I'm
Truce.
Some truce, a little monkey shoulder. Somebody in chat at some point they opened the show with saying Moose is gonna bite off a monkey shoulder after today. So be on the lookout for Draft Beat. The boys are gonna be doing some great work, and we will be on Wednesday with Ethan. So if you have questions, hit me up, tweet me. If you have things you think we'd want to ask Ethan, ask me, and we're gonna have a good time. That's a friend of ours, and I do think that there's a lot of insight to be had. We didn't talk too much about logistical things with Durant and how realistic it is that they'll go after. We'll talk all that with Ethan. We'll talk what he thinks about Pat Riley's press conference and all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. We love you. We're back. Draft Beat's back. We needed a break. Sorry for we were out for like 2 weeks. So how long ago did the Heat lose?
Not long enough.
Doesn't fucking matter.
We were
It
out
should
for
have
a
been
while.
longer. If it was,
Should've
it
been longer.
would have been a celebration today.
I had a great time in New York. Love New York City. Fuck Boston. Fuck the New York Knicks. Exactly, chat. But specifically, fuck the New York Knicks right now. Great city. Love New York. So, go to Schmucks if you're in New York. Great bar. Appreciate you guys. And
Heat legend in New York.
I did. We saw. Oh, I don't have the picture up. Yeah, I was with Brass and Tiff and my girlfriend. We were drinking in Chelsea, and we walked out of a bar, and there was Derek White, slow-mo. And Tiff goes,
Derek White.
I'm sorry, Kyle Anderson. I was thinking of the heads. Just the two of them.
That's so fucking good.
That was an accident. I didn't mean it. It's just two guys with funny heads. Oh my god!
I was looking for the picture to help you out too.
Oh my god! I was like, "What's that guy's name?" Yeah, I'm so.
The foreheads get anybody. It's
that's funny because Tiffany's like, "Is that slow mo?" I go, "How do you know?" She was like, "I'd know that head anyway." and
G does not know that head anywhere.
And we took a picture with him, and he was very nice. We said, "Go Heat! Thank you for the great season." Even though it wasn't a great season. But,
Why'd you lie to that man, G?
I don't know. He took a picture with us, and I have no problem with Kyle Anderson.
You should have told him, I'm sorry you came to this team at this moment. We've seen better days.
I didn't want to take more of his time. I did say loved your minutes at point forward.
And you should have told him you should have said you loved him switch busting
at the nail.
Brass might have elbowed me in the Adam's apple if I did that.
I got the picture. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Put it up. Put up. Look at that. My girlfriend took that. That's me, Brass, Kyle Anderson, and Tiffany Meeks, baby. That's the squad right there. I got fucking blitzed that night. Oh God, we bar hopped the Lower East Side. Shout out to Katana Kitten. Boy, did I get fucked up. Peace. See you Wednesday.